The latest next in the war between Israel and Hamas. A top Israeli war cabinet minister is saying today there are signs of possible progress in ceasefire talks. But Benny Gantz is also re-emphasizing Israeli plans to move the ground offensive into Rafah. And this morning, people inside that southern Gaza city report new airstrikes overnight. This is video from a videographer who works for CBC News within Rafah. And you can see here damage to a mosque. Palestinians at the site say a number of nearby homes are destroyed, too. Reuters is quoting people in Rafah today as saying the bombardment was the heaviest in more than a week. The Hamas-controlled Gaza Health Ministry says at least 97 Palestinians have been killed and 130 wounded in the last 24 hours across Gaza. Negotiations for a ceasefire are ongoing in Egypt, but a key sticking point remains the terms for a release of hostages in Gaza and Palestinians detained by Israel. This is video into us this hour showing Israeli air defenses intercepting a Houthi attack over a southern Israeli city, that's Eilat. It's unclear if this was a missile or a drone here, and Houthi militants are also blamed for a new attack on a cargo ship in the Gulf of Aden. That vessel reportedly on fire as we speak this morning. Now, in another development, there's been a deadly attack on Israelis near Jerusalem this morning, and Abby Kugathasan is here with the details we have of this. Abby, some new information in from Israel's ambulance service. 1 dead, 11 wounded. What do we know about what happened?
Heather, a shooting in the occupied West Bank on a busy motorway this morning as drivers were heading in the direction of Jerusalem. So this incident taking place between Jerusalem and the settlement of Ma'ale Adumim. People, again, driving into Jerusalem, and police there, Israeli police, say that 3 Palestinian gunmen opened fire on motorists. They say that given the heightened security situation, there were police officers on the scene and responded to that incident. Here's the spokesperson for Israeli police speaking about what happened.
Large police forces arrived to the scene and managed to neutralize 2 terrorists on the scene of the attack and 1 who was attempting to flee. They managed to neutralize that threat as well. Like I said, we're in a time of war, and our level of readiness is heightened.
Now, a far-right member of Benjamin Netanyahu's government, Ben-Gvir, was also on the scene a short while ago. He's calling for even more checkpoints in the occupied West Bank, saying that Israeli security outweighs Palestinian freedom of movement. Now, there have been other shootings in recent weeks. Last Friday, 2 people were killed in southern Israel. And in late January, there was a shooting near a synagogue in Jerusalem where 7 people were killed, Heather, and the police chief there saying that it was the worst terror attack in recent years.
Abby, tensions we know have surged in the West Bank following the Hamas attack on Israel on October the 7th. The CBC News has had reporting from within that territory in terms of the violence. But what is the latest in the ongoing situation there?
Certainly tensions that were already heightened following Hamas's attacks on October 7th, as you say, but also heightened and continuing in that direction given the ongoing bombardment by IDF forces in Gaza. Now, Palestinians will say that they've lived under Israeli occupation and have to deal with checkpoints. They have to deal with curfews. There are ongoing detentions and raids, and they say that all of this has actually worsened since October 7th. Thousands have been detained. There are nightly raids almost. They say we do have some video of the aftermath of a raid in Jenin. Israeli forces leaving behind damaged homes, torn up roads, and burnt out cars. Israel says that this is part of their counter-terrorism operation. Israel considers Jenin a hotbed of terrorism for Palestinians. They will say that armed resistance is the only option given given the occupation. Now, in terms of settler violence, there has been a surge there too in recent months. We have some CCTV video showing settlers throwing rocks at Palestinians and their homes. There are reports that Molotov cocktails are being thrown by armed settlers who try to intimidate Palestinians from leaving their land. There have been injuries and there have been killings. The United Nations says say that since October 7th, more than 350 Palestinians have been killed in the occupied West Bank. There has been some reaction. Countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, and France have imposed sanctions on some settlers. Paris now looking at that at the European level as well. And of course, it must be said, Heather, that these settlements in the occupied West Bank are considered illegal under international law. But experts will point out that under this government, the Benjamin Netanyahu government, the settlements have actually sped up.
Abby, thank you very much.